My precious child, listen to me very carefully. This is not a joke. This is about the money. 2 people from your family are taking everything. It is very important. Open this immediately before it is too late. Do not skip me. You thought this was just another message. You thought it was coincidence. But I am telling you now, this is a divine interruption. I have stopped you in your scrolling. I have paused your day, because what is happening behind the scenes cannot continue unnoticed. There is a silent transfer taking place, not just in the physical, but in the spiritual atmosphere around your home. For months, you have felt something was off. You could not explain it. Money that should have stayed is disappearing. Opportunities that should have bloomed are drying up. Plans that should have progressed are stalling without reason. You blamed the economy. You blamed timing. You even blamed yourself. But I, your father, am revealing the truth. 2 people within your family circle are operating from a place of fear and hidden motives. It may not look obvious. It may not even look intentional. But their decisions, their conversations, and their actions are creating financial leakage around you. This is not about hatred. This is about awareness. I am not exposing them to create division. I am exposing this so you can protect what I am about to multiply in your life. Because what you are stepping into is bigger than what you have seen before. You are entering a season where provision will increase, where resources will flow, where ideas will turn into income. And the enemy knows this. So the attack begins before the blessing manifests. Look at the pattern. Have you noticed sudden expenses that make no sense? Have you noticed shared responsibilities falling unfairly on you? Have you noticed emotional pressure tied to financial decisions? This is not random. The spirit of manipulation often hides behind family loyalty. And you, my child, have a generous heart. You give. You support. You sacrifice. You believe in helping your own. That kindness is beautiful, but it must now be guided by wisdom. I am not asking you to accuse anyone. I am not asking you to confront in anger. I am asking you to observe. There are conversations happening without you. Decisions being influenced without your knowledge. Agreements forming that affect your stability. And if you ignore this warning, you will feel the impact later when it becomes heavier. This is why I said, open this immediately before it is too late. Because delay in awareness leads to deeper loss. Listen closely. The next 30 days are critical. There will be a financial discussion. It may appear casual. It may appear urgent. It may even appear emotional. And you will feel pressured to say yes quickly. Do not rush. Silence is your protection. Prayer is your strategy. Wisdom is your shield. I am positioning you to step back and watch. To listen more than you speak. To read every document carefully. To question gently but firmly. This is not paranoia. This is preparation. You have been chosen in your family line to break cycles of lack. Others before you struggled because they trusted without discernment. They gave without boundaries. They signed without understanding. But you are different. You carry discernment. That uneasy feeling you felt last week, that was me. That sudden hesitation before agreeing to help again, that was me. That dream about losing something valuable, that was me warning you. Nothing is random. 2 people, not strangers, not enemies from outside, from inside. And this revelation is not to create fear, it is to empower you. Because once light enters a room, darkness loses authority. I am about to restore what was drained. I am about to redirect what was misused. But I need your cooperation. Stop over-explaining your finances. Stop revealing every plan before it manifests. Stop announcing every increase before it is secured. Privacy will protect prosperity. There is also something deeper. One of these two individuals does not even realize the harm being caused. They are being influenced by insecurity. The other knows more than they show. Their intentions are mixed, part love, part self-interest. This is why you must move wisely, not emotionally. You will soon see subtle signs, a slip of the tongue, a contradictory statement, an unexpected request. When it happens, do not panic. Just remember this moment. I told you first. And when the confirmation comes, you will feel a strange peace, not anger, not shock, because you were prepared. My child, I do not expose to shame. I expose to protect. I'm about to shift your financial atmosphere. But before elevation, there must be separation from hidden drains. Guard your accounts. Guard your signatures. Guard your generosity. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. And that is exactly why this warning had to reach you today. This is only the beginning of what I am revealing. I chosen one. What I am about to unfold now will settle the confusion that has been circling your mind. You have been asking me silently, why does it feel like no matter how much I try, something keeps slipping through my hands? You work hard. You plan carefully. You even try to save. Yet there is this invisible drain, as if your harvest is being gathered by hands you cannot see. Let me take you deeper. The issue is not just about physical money. It is about access. Two people from your family have more access to your financial energy than they should. Access to your time. Access to your decisions. Access to your emotional pressure points. And when someone has access, they have influence. Influence changes outcomes. One of them uses urgency. They create situations that feel immediate. They make you feel that if you do not step in right now, something terrible will happen. The other uses sympathy. They remind you of history. They remind you of sacrifices. They remind you of family loyalty. And because you are compassionate, you respond. But I am telling you now, compassion without boundaries becomes exploitation. This is not about accusing them of evil intent. It is about recognizing imbalance. You have slowly become the pillar that holds up more than your assigned portion. You are carrying weight that was never meant for your shoulders. And here is the spiritual truth. When you carry what is not assigned to you, you delay what is assigned to you. At business idea you have been postponing. At investment you have been hesitant about. That savings goal that never quite grows. It is not because you lack ability. It is because your resources are being redirected. I am calling you into a season of financial maturity. Maturity means you pause before saying yes. Maturity means you ask questions without guilt. Maturity means you separate love from liability. Very soon, there will be a request. It will not look dramatic. It may sound like, just this one time, but we will return it with it. Or even, you are the only one we can trust. Listen carefully when that moment comes. Do not answer immediately. Take time. Pray. Reflect. Ask for clarity in writing if necessary. If there is resistance to transparency, that is your confirmation. You must understand something important. Not everyone in your family is meant to know the full measure of your financial growth. Some people can celebrate your success, but they cannot handle your increase. That is why silence will become your strategy. I am also teaching you something bigger than money. I'm teaching you stewardship. Because where you are going, the numbers will increase. The opportunities will expand. The responsibility will multiply. If you cannot guard small doors now, larger doors will overwhelm you later. And I love you too much to let that happen. Here is another layer. These two individuals have been discussing things privately. Conversations that shape expectations around your role. They assume you will always step in. They assume you will always solve it. They assume your resources are shared by default. Assumptions create silent agreements. And silent agreements create silent losses. This is the moment you gently but firmly reset expectations. Not with anger, not with drama, but with clarity. You may say less. You may share less. You may even distance yourself slightly from financial discussions. That is not selfishness. That is wisdom activated. As you begin to implement these changes, you might notice tension. You might sense confusion in them. They may ask why you seem different. Because you are different. You have received revelation. And revelation demands action. Do not underestimate the importance of what I am showing you right now. This message is positioning you ahead of a potential setback. If this resonates in your spirit, do not keep it to yourself. Share this word with someone who needs clarity. Let it strengthen others who are quietly struggling with similar pressure. Subscribe and stay connected, because what is unfolding next will answer questions you have not even spoken yet. And when you engage, you align yourself with the flow of wisdom being released here. Here is something coming that will test your resolve. A moment that will feel uncomfortable but necessary. When it happens, remember this: discomfort in the present can prevent disaster in the future. I am not separating you from family. I am separating you from financial confusion. I am not breaking relationships. I am breaking unhealthy patterns. And when this shift completes, you will notice something remarkable. Your savings will stabilize. Your anxiety around money will decrease. Unexpected opportunities will begin to appear. Because once leakage stops, increase becomes visible. Stay alert. Stay prayerful. Stay wise. What I reveal next will connect everything you have been sensing but could not explain. Beloved of my heart, now the veil lifts even further. You have sensed tension, but you could not name it. You have felt distance, but you blamed it on stress. You have noticed patterns, but you convinced yourself you were overthinking. Let me confirm what your spirit already knows. This is not imagination. This is discernment awakening. The reason this matter feels heavy is because it is connected to generational cycles. In your family line, money has always carried emotion. It has never just been currency. It has been control. It has been leverage. It has been proof of worth. And when money becomes emotional power, relationships slowly become transactions. You were born to end that pattern. That is why you feel uncomfortable when financial discussions turn manipulative. That is why you feel drained after certain conversations. That is why your peace disappears when obligations are disguised as love. Two people in your circle are operating from old programming. They learn that survival means securing resources by any means. They do not even fully realize they are repeating what they saw growing up. But repetition without awareness creates damage. One of them fears loss deeply. They fear instability. So they hold tightly. They gather. They make sure they are never empty, even if it means others quietly carry the cost. The other fears being overlooked. They equate financial contribution with importance. If they feel insecure, they maneuver situations to keep themselves central in decisions. And because you are stable and capable, you become the easiest anchor for their strategies. This is not about labeling them as enemies. This is about recognizing spiritual dynamics. You must understand something profound. When God prepares someone for overflow, exposure comes first. I am exposing not to embarrass them, but to free you. If this continued unchecked, resentment would eventually grow in your heart. And resentment is more dangerous than financial loss. It hardens compassion. It damages unity. It creates silent walls. I am preventing that outcome. Very soon, there will be a revealing moment, a contradiction in a story, a financial detail that does not align, a statement that exposes a hidden assumption about your role. When it happens, do not react emotionally. Simply observe. Observation is power. You will realize that what was presented as necessity was sometimes convenience. What was framed as emergency was sometimes poor planning. What was called family duty was sometimes avoidance of responsibility. And in that realization, something inside you will shift. You will stop volunteering before being asked. You will stop explaining your boundaries repeatedly. You will stop rescuing situations that were never yours to fix. A shift will feel uncomfortable at first. You may worry that you are becoming distant. But distance from dysfunction is not coldness. It is clarity. This is also the season where I am teaching you about alignment. Not everyone who shares your blood shares your destiny. Not everyone who loves you understands your calling. And not everyone who depends on you should have unlimited access to your resources. Access must be earned by accountability. In the next few weeks, I will give you subtle confirmations. A document that reveals more than intended. A conversation overheard. A financial request that contradicts previous statements. When these signs appear, do not ignore them. They are answers to the prayer you prayed when you said, God, show me the truth. I am showing you. But here is the deeper promise. Once you implement boundaries, I will restore what was lost. You will see unexpected reimbursement. You will see opportunities that replace what was drained. You will experience favor in places where you expected delay. Because when obedience meets discernment, acceleration follows. Do not fear their reaction. The ones who truly honor you will adjust. The ones who resist reveal their dependency on your silence. You were never meant to fund dysfunction. You were meant to build legacy. And legacy requires structure. Right now, heaven is watching your response. Not to judge you, but to bless you. Because every time you choose wisdom over guilt, you align with divine order. Every time you say no where you once said yes out of pressure, you reclaim authority over your future. The exposure is not punishment. It is protection. The separation is not rejection. It is redirection. And as this clarity settles in your spirit, peace will return to your finances. You will feel lighter. Decisions will become easier. Confidence will replace confusion. You are stepping into financial stewardship at a higher level, and higher levels require sharper discernment. If this message confirms what your spirit had been sensing, respond in faith. Type I choose wisdom in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 394 is now activated over your finances. And as this revelation settles into your heart, understand this. When you sow into the spreading of truth, you participate in someone else's freedom. The Lord says, when you cast your bread upon the waters, it will return to you. This is not a distant verse. It is a living promise spoken over you now. I feel led to say this clearly. I will not let this word stop with me. When you release a super thanks, join as a member, or give through the PayPal link in the description. You are lighting a lamp in someone else's dark moment. You are pouring oil that keeps this message flowing to souls who are one decision away from breakthrough. Do not hesitate when your spirit nudges you. Obedience in this hour carries multiplication. As you give, may doors open that no manipulation can close, and may provision locate you with precision. Act now, and seal your agreement with the harvest that heaven has prepared. Faithful one, breathe slowly and receive what I am about to say. Now that awareness has entered your spirit, the atmosphere around you will begin to shift. You may already sense it. Conversations will feel different. Certain tones will stand out more clearly. Small details that once escaped your attention will suddenly become obvious. This is not coincidence. This is heightened discernment. When truth rises, it changes how you see everything. The two individuals I spoke about will not suddenly announce their intentions. Exposure rarely arrives with noise. It comes through patterns. It comes through repeated behavior. It comes through subtle inconsistencies that stack on top of each other until the picture becomes undeniable. You are entering the stage where confirmation replaces suspicion. And here is what you must guard carefully: your reaction. It is easy to feel anger when you realize you have been overextending yourself. It is easy to replay past moments and think about how much you gave, how quickly you responded, how often you sacrificed your own plans. But anger will cloud your next move. I am not calling you to react. I am calling you to reposition. Repositioning is quiet strength. Instead of confronting immediately, you will begin by restructuring quietly. You will separate accounts if necessary. You will reduce shared access. You will document agreements. You will ask for clarity where there used to be assumptions. This is not aggression. This is order. Order invites blessing. Chaos repels it. For too long, your financial space has been mixed with emotional expectations. When emotion controls money, wisdom becomes secondary. I am reversing that order in your life. From now on, wisdom will lead and emotion will follow. You will notice something interesting as you begin to shift. One of the two individuals will respond with subtle resistance. They may question your new caution. They may imply that you have changed. They may even try to remind you of how things used to be. Yes, you have changed. Growth always feels threatening to those who benefited from your lack of boundaries. The other individual may become unusually quiet. They may observe more. They may test gently to see if your resolve is firm. Do not be shaken by these responses. Consistency will communicate more powerfully than confrontation. I am teaching you that protection does not require announcement. There is also something unfolding spiritually. A moment you decided internally that enough is enough. A shift occurred in the unseen realm. Cycles that have been running for years began to weaken. Generational patterns tied to financial dependency started losing authority. You are not just adjusting a budget. You are breaking a lineage of imbalance. This is why the pressure felt so heavy before. You were not just carrying current responsibilities. You were carrying inherited expectations. Now that you see it clearly, those expectations no longer control you. But listen carefully, the test is not over. There will soon be an opportunity presented to you that appears beneficial for everyone involved. It will sound cooperative. It will be framed as unity. Yet hidden within it will be uneven responsibility placed on you again. Pause. Ask direct questions. If transparency makes someone uncomfortable, that discomfort is information. Do not let urgency run you. Urgency is often the tool used when clarity is weak. I am also guiding you to build something quietly for yourself. a private reserve, a plan that is not discussed openly, a structure that secures your future regardless of external dependency. This is not secrecy rooted in fear. It is preparation rooted in wisdom. You will feel stronger as you implement these shifts. Anxiety around money will begin to decrease. The sense of being stretched thin will slowly fade. And as that happens, creativity will return. Ideas that once felt blocked will start flowing again. Because when leakage stops, vision expands. I want you to notice something else. Your worth has never been tied to how much you provide. Your value is not measured by how many problems you solve for others. You were never called to be the financial savior of your family. You were called to be a wise steward of what I entrust to you. Stewardship includes boundaries. And boundaries are not walls against love. They are structures that allow love to remain healthy. As the coming days unfold, you will see small confirmations that you are on the right path. A delayed request that never resurfaces. An unexpected expense that resolves without your intervention. A conversation that reveals more than intended. Each confirmation will strengthen your confidence. Do not second-guess yourself when clarity arrives. The old version of you would have ignored these signs. The new version of you recognizes them as guidance. You are stepping into financial authority. And authority requires calmness, not chaos. Hold your peace. Move strategically. Speak less about your resources. Plan more about your future. The exposure is working in your favor. And what is about to be revealed next will help you understand why this timing is so precise. My steadfast child, what is unfolding now is not random timing. It is divine precision. You may be wondering why this revelation is coming to you at this exact season of your life. Why not last year? Why not months ago? Why now? The answer is simple. Because you are finally strong enough to handle the truth without collapsing under it. There was a time when you would have responded emotionally. There was a time when confrontation would have turned into conflict. There was a time when guilt would have silenced your wisdom. But you are not in that place anymore. Growth has prepared you for this moment. The two individuals involved have operated within a system that relied on your predictability. They knew you would step in. They trusted your generosity would override your hesitation. They assumed your kindness would never develop limits. But something shifted inside you recently. You became tired. Not physically tired, but spiritually tired. Tired of feeling responsible for outcomes that were not yours. Tired of solving the same problems repeatedly. Tired of watching your own goals pause while you rescued others. That fatigue was not weakness. It was awakening. When exhaustion reveals a pattern, it is not complaining. It is clarity demanding change. You are now standing at the threshold of a financial reset. But resets require courage. It takes courage to say, I cannot participate in this arrangement anymore. It takes courage to let others experience the consequences of their own decisions. It takes courage to endure temporary misunderstanding for long-term stability. Understand this deeply. When you stop enabling imbalance, you create space for responsibility to rise in others. If you continue covering every gap, growth will never occur in them. And you will remain the silent foundation that receives little acknowledgement. This is not the life I designed for you. There is also a spiritual transfer happening that you cannot yet fully see. The moment you began setting boundaries internally, new opportunities started aligning externally. But here is the key. Those opportunities require available resources. If your finances remain entangled in constant rescue missions, you will miss strategic openings. I am positioning you for expansion. There is something coming that will require quick decision-making. An investment. a relocation possibility, a business collaboration, a door that opens suddenly and demands readiness. If your finances are drained by ongoing family imbalance, hesitation will cost you that moment. This is why timing matters. You may notice resistance intensify slightly as you grow firmer. One of the two individuals may attempt to appeal to nostalgia. They may remind you of past help. They may question your loyalty. But loyalty without reciprocity becomes bondage. Healthy relationships honor boundaries. Unhealthy dynamics resist them. Pay attention to how they respond when you say, "I need time to think." That simple sentence will reveal more than any argument ever could. If there is respect, you will see patience. If there is manipulation, you will see pressure. And when you see pressure, let that confirm what you already know. You are not withdrawing love. You are restructuring access. Access to your money is not a right. It is a privilege built on trust and accountability. I also want to speak to the guilt that may attempt to creep into your thoughts at night. The whisper that says, maybe you are overreacting. The doubt that asks, what if they truly need you? Listen carefully. Discernment and paranoia feel different. Discernment is calm and clear. Paranoia is anxious and chaotic. What you are experiencing is calm clarity. You are not acting out of fear. You are responding to revelation. As this continues, you will notice your confidence growing. You will start reviewing past situations with new understanding. Moments that once confused you will now make sense. Statements that felt harmless will reveal hidden layers. This awareness is not meant to make you suspicious of everyone. It is meant to sharpen your wisdom for specific areas. You will also begin to feel a subtle financial stability forming. Even before major increase arrives, there will be less unexpected leakage, fewer emotional obligations, fewer last-minute demands. Peace around money is a sign that alignment has begun. Do not announce your new boundaries loudly. Let your actions speak quietly. Consistency over time will redefine expectations more effectively than confrontation ever could. And here is something powerful. Once you stabilize your financial foundation, your voice will carry more authority. You will speak from strength, not obligation. You will contribute from overflow, not pressure. This is the season where you stop being the emergency solution and start being the strategic builder. There is still more that must be revealed. A deeper layer connected to timing and a conversation that is approaching sooner than you think. What unfolds next will require not only wisdom, but restraint. Stay steady. You are moving exactly as you should. My beloved one, steady your heart, because what happens next will test your transformation. You have already begun to shift internally. You are thinking differently. You are pausing where you once rushed. You are observing where you once reacted. That inner shift is powerful, but now it must be demonstrated outwardly. Very soon, a situation will arise that feels familiar. It will look like something you have handled many times before. A financial gap, a sudden need, a request framed as temporary support. The tone will sound reasonable. The urgency will feel real. This is the moment of proof. The old version of you would have responded immediately, perhaps even before being asked directly. You would have calculated how to rearrange your own plans to make it work. You would have absorbed the pressure silently. But the new version of you will breathe first. You will ask questions. You will request details. You will give yourself space. And in that space, truth will surface. Watch carefully how the conversation unfolds. If transparency is clear and responsibility is shared fairly, you will feel peace. But if answers are vague, if timelines are unclear, If emotional pressure replaces practical explanation, you will recognize the pattern instantly. This is not about refusing to help. It is about refusing to carry what does not belong to you. There is also something deeper happening beneath this surface event. The two individuals involved are sensing your change. They may not understand it fully, but they feel it. The dynamic is shifting. The automatic access is no longer guaranteed. And when automatic access is removed, true intentions are revealed. One of them may attempt to test your boundary subtly. They might say, "You have never hesitated before," or "We always do this together." These statements are not innocent. They are attempts to pull you back into old agreements. Do not argue. Do not defend. Simply repeat your position calmly. Calm repetition is strength. I also want you to prepare for something unexpected. When you hold your boundary this time, the situation will resolve in a way that does not require your sacrifice. Resources will appear from another source. A solution will emerge that does not drain you. And when that happens, you will see clearly that your constant intervention was never the only option. You were not the only pillar. You were simply the most convenient one. This realization will bring both relief and a small sting. Relief because you understand you were overextending. A sting because you see how easily the pattern formed. But do not dwell there. Growth always includes moments of realization. There is a larger blessing attached to this obedience. When you demonstrate that you can steward wisely under pressure, greater opportunities will be trusted to you. I am watching how you handle this. Not to test you harshly, but to qualify you for expansion. You have asked for increase. Increase requires discipline. Discipline is proven in moments like this. As you walk through this next interaction, keep your words measured. Avoid over-explaining your reasons. You do not need to justify wisdom. A simple, firm response is enough. Let silence do the heavy work. You may notice a temporary shift in atmosphere after you stand firm. Conversations may feel shorter. Energy may feel slightly tense. Attention is not failure. It is adjustment. Every system resists change before it stabilizes. Give it time. And as you move through this, remember you are not alone. I am guiding each step. When you feel uncertain about what to say, pause and ask me internally. Clarity will come quietly but clearly. If this message is strengthening you right now, let it strengthen someone else as well. Share this word with those who feel financially stretched by family expectations. Engage with this message. Subscribe and stay connected because what is being revealed here is unfolding layer by layer, and you will want to witness how this story completes. There is a deeper twist coming that will connect everything you have experienced. Trust the process. The financial reset has already begun. The moment you refused to move from guilt, chains weakened. The moment you chose clarity over comfort, cycles cracked. And now you are stepping into a position of authority within your own life. Authority does not shout. Authority stands steady. What is about to happen next will show you just how necessary this entire warning has been. The confirmation will not be loud, but it will be undeniable. Stay firm. You are closer to stability than you realize. My faithful child, what you are about to witness will remove the last trace of doubt from your mind. You have stood firm. You have paused instead of rushing. You have responded with clarity instead of guilt. And now, the shift you felt internally is beginning to manifest externally. The situation I warned you about has either just happened or is unfolding as you listen to this. The request came. The tone was familiar. The urgency was present. But this time, You did not move automatically. You asked for details. You asked for structure. You asked for accountability. And something changed. You noticed hesitation where there used to be confidence. You noticed irritation where there should have been understanding. You noticed subtle pressure when you calmly held your ground. That reaction was your confirmation. Because when someone is used to unrestricted access, boundaries feel like rejection. But this is not rejection. This is realignment. One of the two individuals is beginning to realize that the dynamic has shifted. They are trying to understand how much has changed. They may attempt a softer approach now. More kindness. More compliments. More worth. This is not necessarily manipulation. Sometimes it is adjustment. But do not let temporary warmth erase long-term patterns. Consistency is what matters. The other individual, however, is processing internally. They may withdraw slightly. They may observe silently. And in that silence, they are recalculating their expectations around you. Do not be alarmed by this recalibration. When you remove automatic support, people are forced to develop independence. And independence is healthy, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. There is something deeper that you must see clearly now. You were never meant to be the financial backbone of unbalanced systems. You were meant to build something sustainable, something structured, something that creates security not only for yourself, but for future generations. You are a builder. But builders cannot pour all their materials into repairing the same crack over and over again. The next phase of this revelation is about exposure without confrontation. You will overhear something, or perhaps you already have. A conversation that reveals assumptions about your finances. A statement that implies your resources are considered shared property. A casual remark that exposes entitlement. When you hear it, do not interrupt. Let them speak. Truth often reveals itself fully when not challenged mid-sentence. And when the realization settles in your heart, you will not feel rage. You will feel clarity. The kind of clarity that removes confusion permanently. You will understand that your generosity was slowly becoming expectation. That your silence was interpreted as agreement. That your kindness was being woven into long-term planning without your consent. But here is the powerful part. The moment you stop participating, the system adjusts. You may notice something surprising. The financial emergencies will decrease. Solutions will appear from sources you were not aware of. Responsibilities will redistribute themselves when you no longer volunteer automatically. This will prove something important to you. You were never the only solution. You were simply the most reliable one. That realization will set you free. There is also a blessing unfolding quietly in the background. Because you held your boundary, you have preserved resources that would have been drained. And very soon, you will see why that preservation was critical. An opportunity is approaching that requires readiness. It may involve relocation, business growth, or a strategic investment. It will not wait long for indecision. It will require confidence and available resources. And because you listened to this warning, you will be prepared. The timing of this entire exposure is divine. If this clarity had come later, you might have been entangled too deeply. If it had come earlier, you might not have had the strength to respond wisely. But now you are positioned perfectly. I want you to pay attention to your emotions in the coming days. Notice the difference in your stress levels. Notice the absence of financial anxiety that used to linger. Notice how your mind feels clearer when money conversations are no longer automatic obligations. Peace is evidence of alignment. You are not becoming distant. You are becoming disciplined. You are not becoming selfish. You are becoming strategic. And strategy is necessary for the level you are entering. As this new normal settles in, you may still feel moments of temptation to revert. Old habits whisper loudly when change feels new. But remember the confirmation you have seen. Remember the hesitation in their voices. Remember the subtle entitlement that surfaced. Do not unsee what has been revealed. This is your season of stabilization. The next revelation will connect this financial shift to something even larger, something tied to your future security and long-term legacy. Stay steady. You are building something that will not collapse. My determined child, now you are ready to understand the deeper layer behind all of this. What has been happening is not only about present finances. It is about inheritance. It is about assets, ownership, long-term security, and decisions that will echo into the future. The reason this warning felt urgent is because something larger is connected to it, something that could shape your stability for years to come. There are conversations either happening now or about to happen regarding shared property, shared responsibility, or shared entitlement. It may involve a house, land, business equity, family savings, or future distribution of assets. On the surface, these discussions may appear harmless. They may even sound like cooperation. But look closely at the structure. Who is expected to contribute more? Who is assumed to sacrifice first? Who is relied upon to make it work if something falls short? The pattern has been preparing you for this moment. If you had not awakened to the smaller financial leaks, you would step into this larger agreement without hesitation. And that would place you in a position where your long-term stability becomes dependent on the decisions of others. This is why heaven interrupted you early. You are being guided to read carefully, to ask for documentation, to understand percentages, timelines, and responsibilities clearly. Do not let emotional appeals override legal clarity. Love and structure can coexist. Unity and accountability can coexist. You must also recognize something sensitive. One of the two individuals sees this upcoming shift as an opportunity. They may not say it directly, but they assume you will continue playing the stabilizing role. They believe your liability guarantees their security. But your role is changing. You are not withdrawing support entirely. You are redefining it. Support that is healthy includes mutual responsibility. Support that is unhealthy creates dependency. As this larger matter begins to surface, you will feel the weight of decision more intensely. You may lie awake thinking through possibilities. You may feel pressure to decide quickly to keep peace. Do not rush peace at the cost of stability. Temporary tension is better than permanent imbalance. There will be a key moment when a document, proposal, or verbal agreement is presented. It will sound reasonable. It may even flatter you, emphasizing trust in your capability. But look beyond the compliments. Examine the structure. If risk is unevenly distributed, reconsider. If contribution expectations are vague, clarify. If repayment plans are unclear, pause. You are being called into financial leadership, not emotional compliance. At the same time, understand this: not all involvement is wrong. What matters is fairness. What matters is transparency. What matters is written clarity. Wisdom does not reject opportunity. Wisdom refines it. And here is the promise attached to your obedience. Because you are choosing discernment now, you are preserving an inheritance that was meant for you. Whether that inheritance is physical property, financial growth, or business expansion, it cannot be built on unstable agreements. You may soon discover information that changes your perspective entirely. The detail previously hidden a conversation you were not meant to hear, a financial figure that was understated. When this comes to light, you will understand why this entire message reached you when it did. Exposure before commitment is mercy, and mercy is protecting your future. Do not be afraid to seek counsel, not from those directly involved, but from neutral, wise voices, professionals if necessary. There is no shame in double-checking agreements that affect your life significantly. The stronger you stand now, the more secure you will feel later. Peace will confirm your decisions. When something is aligned, even if it requires firm boundaries, you will sense stability rather than confusion. You are stepping into a season where your financial foundation becomes solid, structured, and secure. This is not the end of family connection. It is the beginning of healthy balance. If this message resonates deeply within you, respond in faith. Type "My future is protected" in the comments if this word confirms your spirit. Blessing code 818 is now activated over your inheritance and long-term security. And as you protect what heaven is entrusting to you, understand that this message is reaching many who are facing similar crossroads. The Lord declares, as you sow beside many waters, your seed will prosper. This is not just ancient scripture, it is a living voice speaking to you now. I sense this strongly. I will stand for wisdom and help this light travel further. When you release a super thanks, step into membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are planting into fertile soil that brings clarity to families in confusion. You are pouring oil that keeps this revelation burning in dark places. Do not delay when your spirit nudges you, because obedience in this hour carries divine acceleration. As you give, may your own house be established in peace, and may every seed you sow return with multiplied stability. Act now, and seal this moment with faith-filled action. My wise and awakening child, you are now standing at a crossroads that will quietly determine the direction of your next 10 years. What once felt like small financial inconveniences has now revealed itself as part of a much larger structure. And the more you observe, the clearer the architecture becomes. This was never random. It was layered. It was gradual. It was normalized over time so that you would not question it. But you are questioning it now. And that changes everything. The larger matter connected to property, inheritance, where shared responsibility is beginning to surface more clearly. Conversations are becoming more direct. Figures are being mentioned. Expectations are forming. And you can sense that your response will carry weight. This is not accidental. You have always been seen as the stable one, the reliable one, the one who calculates before acting, the one who can absorb impact. But reliability does not mean unlimited capacity. Stability does not mean silent sacrifice. In the coming interaction, there will be an attempt to frame participation as unity. The language may emphasize togetherness, legacy, family strength, and those values are beautiful. But unity without fairness becomes quiet exploitation. Listen carefully to the numbers. Listen carefully to timelines. Listen carefully to what is not being said. If responsibilities are clearly defined and equally distributed, peace will follow clarity. But if vagueness lingers, that vagueness is intentional. When people avoid specifics, it is often because specifics reveal imbalance. There is something else you must recognize. One of the two individuals genuinely believes this arrangement is normal. They have convinced themselves that because you have always contributed more, you will continue to do so. They do not see it as unfair. They see it as tradition. Tradition, however, is not always healthy. The other individual understands more than they admit. They are aware of the uneven structure but are hoping you will not challenge it. They are relying on your past patterns to secure their present comfort. But your past pattern has ended. This time, you will request written clarity. You will ask for exact contributions, exact responsibilities, exact timelines. You will separate emotion from agreement. And when you do, something revealing will happen. The energy will shift. If the proposal is balanced, transparency will strengthen it. But if the proposal relied on your silent over-contribution, resistance will surface. Do not fear resistance. Resistance is information. It reveals motive. It reveals expectation. It reveals whether you are valued for who you are or for what you provide. And here is where your growth becomes undeniable. You will not explode. You will not accuse. You will not dramatize. You will simply say, I need this structured clearly before I commit. That sentence alone will protect you. You may feel a temporary distance afterward. Perhaps a cooler tone in conversation. Perhaps a slight withdrawal. But remember, when you remove automatic access, systems must adjust. Give the adjustment time. You are not responsible for managing everyone's emotional reaction to your boundaries. You are responsible for stewarding your future. There is also a hidden blessing attached to this stand. Because you are choosing wisdom now, you are preventing long-term entanglement. You are preserving your credit, your savings, your peace of mind. You are keeping your future flexible instead of tying it to unstable agreements. Flexibility is freedom, and freedom is priceless. Soon, you will receive confirmation that your caution was necessary. It may come through a financial inconsistency. It may come through a casual admission. It may come through an external circumstance that exposes weakness in the proposed plan. When that confirmation arrives, you will not feel fear. You will feel gratitude that you paused. This is divine protection at work. You must also understand something deeper. This entire exposure is not about separating you from family. It is about elevating you within your own life. You are being moved from reactive participant to intentional decision maker. Intentional decisions build stable futures. Reactive decisions create unstable cycles. As you continue walking in this new posture, your confidence will grow. Money will no longer feel like a source of hidden tension. It will feel like a tool you manage with clarity. You will begin planning long-term without the shadow of unspoken obligation hanging over you. And something beautiful will happen internally. Respect for yourself will increase. Not pride, but grounded self-respect. The kind that knows your value is not measured by how much you absorb for others. You were never meant to finance imbalance. You were meant to build legacy. The next revelation will connect this entire journey to a breakthrough that has been delayed, not because of lack of blessing, but because of misplaced allocation. Prepare your heart. What is coming will show you why every boundary you set was necessary. My courageous one, now you are about to see why this entire warning could not wait. You have held your ground. You have asked for clarity. You have refused to move from guilt. And because of that, something has quietly shifted in your favor. What once looked like obligation is now being revealed as optional. What once felt like pressure is now being exposed as assumption. But here is the deeper revelation. There was a breakthrough scheduled for your life that required financial readiness. An open door connected to growth, relocation, expansion, or investment. It has been hovering near you, waiting for alignment. Not waiting for worthiness, because you are already worthy. It was waiting for structure. Blessings require structure. Opportunities require preparation. And preparation requires preserved resources. If you had continued operating under the old pattern, your finances would have been too entangled to move quickly when this door opened. You would have hesitated. You would have said, "Let me think about it." You would have delayed, and delay would have cost you momentum. But because you pause, because you question, because you restructure, you are now ready. Within a short span of time, something will present itself that feels different from the financial pressure you are used to. This will not feel draining. It will feel expansive. It will not be wrapped in urgency born from chaos. It will carry urgency born from opportunity. Learn to recognize the difference. Pressure drains your energy before you even decide. Opportunity energizes you while you consider it. When this moment comes, you will feel clarity instead of confusion. You will see numbers that make sense. You will see timelines that are structured. You will sense alignment instead of imbalance. And here is the key. You will have the ability to say yes confidently because you protected your resources earlier. That is why this message was not a joke. That is why it carried urgency. Because two people taking everything quietly could have cost you something much greater. Now let us address something important. As this new opportunity begins to surface, one or both of those individuals may attempt to re-establish the old dynamic. They may sense that you are moving into something significant. They may subtly reintroduce financial need at the exact moment your breakthrough approaches. This will be the final test of consistency. Do not sabotage your expansion to maintain temporary comfort for others. You can love without sacrificing your calling. You can care without compromising your growth. You can support without surrendering your future. When the door opens, step through it with confidence. Do not announce it prematurely. Do not over-explain your plans. Move strategically. Secure what needs to be secured before sharing details. Privacy protects progress. As you advance, you may notice something unexpected. Respect will begin to shift in your direction. The same individuals who once assumed your compliance will begin to approach you more cautiously. Boundaries command respect, even if they are not verbally acknowledged. And internally, you will feel stronger than you have in years. No more quiet resentment. No more silent financial strain. No more hidden anxiety when your phone rings with a familiar name. Peace will replace pressure. If this message is opening your eyes right now, do not keep it hidden. Share it with someone who needs clarity. Comment and declare that you are stepping into financial authority. Subscribe and stay connected, because what is unfolding is not just a warning, it is a transformation. And trust me, what completes this journey will show you just how close your breakthrough truly is. There is one more layer you must understand. This was never just about two individuals. It was about your agreement. The moment you withdraw agreement from imbalance, imbalance loses power. You are withdrawing agreement, and heaven is responding. Very soon, confirmation will arrive that your protected resources are now being redirected into something that multiplies instead of drains. It may come as a contract signed, a partnership confirmed, an investment approved, a move initiated. When it happens, remember this moment. Remember that discipline preserved it. Remember that boundaries protected it. Remember that discernment secured it. The final revelation will bring closure to this entire cycle and seal your transition into a new financial season. Stand ready. You are not losing anything. You are reclaiming everything. My victorious child, you are now standing in the evidence of everything I warned you about. Look at how far you have come. The pressure that once felt constant is no longer controlling you. The automatic responses that once defined you have been replaced with intentional decisions. The confusion that clouded your thinking has cleared, and in its place stands confidence. This is not coincidence. This is transformation. The opportunity I spoke about has either appeared or is on the verge of appearing. You can sense it. It feels different from the draining cycles of the past. It carries clarity. It carries structure. It carries promise without hidden weight. And because you protected your resources, you are able to engage with it. Had you continued under the old pattern, you would have felt trapped. You would have hesitated, calculating how to free yourself from commitments you never fully agreed to. But now, you are free to consider expansion without fear. Freedom is the reward of discipline. There is something profound happening internally as well. You are beginning to see yourself differently. Not as the one who must always fix everything, but as the one who chooses where to invest energy. That shift in identity is powerful. For years, you may have equated love with sacrifice. You may have believed that stepping back meant stepping away from family. But now you see that healthy distance can actually preserve relationships instead of damaging them. The two individuals involved are adjusting. The dynamic is no longer automatic. One of them may have softened. They may be approaching you with more transparency. That is growth. Boundaries often teach what words cannot. The other may still feel unsettled. They may not fully understand why things change. But even they are beginning to recognize that the old system is no longer available. And here is something important. Do not gloat internally. Do not let pride slip in because you were right. Stay humble. Stay steady. Growth is not about proving others wrong. It is about protecting what is entrusted to you. The breakthrough you are stepping into will require continued wisdom. This is not the end of discernment. It is the beginning of a higher level of stewardship. There may be one final conversation that brings closure to this entire cycle. It will not be dramatic. It may be subtle. A statement that acknowledges your new boundaries. A question asked more respectfully. A request framed with clearer structure. When that moment comes, respond with grace. Grace and firmness can coexist. You are not trying to win against anyone. You are establishing a new standard for your life. As your financial environment stabilizes, you will notice other areas improving as well. Your focus will sharpen. Your sleep will deepen. Your creativity will expand. Financial stress has a way of affecting everything quietly. When it lifts, clarity returns in multiple dimensions. You will also begin planning long-term in a way you have not before. Retirement, investment, business growth, relocation possibilities. These will no longer feel like distant dreams. They will feel achievable because the constant drain has been addressed. And here is the deeper truth. This entire experience has strengthened you spiritually. You prayed for wisdom, and wisdom required testing. You asked for growth, and growth required boundaries. You desired increase, and increase required protection. And now you stand prepared. The final step in this journey is not about confrontation. It is about confirmation. Confirmation that you are no longer available for imbalance. Confirmation that your future will not be built on silent sacrifice. Confirmation that your obedience preserves your breakthrough. As the next days unfold, watch how smoothly things begin to align. Watch how opportunities come with less friction. Watch how respect replaces assumption. You did not lose family. You lost unhealthy access. You did not abandon responsibility. You redefined it. And because of that, you are stepping into a season where money serves your vision instead of controlling your peace. The final revelation will seal this transition completely and release a declaration over your future that cannot be reversed. Prepare your heart. What is coming will confirm that every boundary was worth it. My anointed and steadfast child, this is the sealing of the matter. You began this journey thinking it was just about money. You thought it was about two people quietly taking more than they should. You thought it was about imbalance and hidden pressure. But now you see clearly. This was about authority. It was about reclaiming your authority. From the very beginning, the warning was urgent because your future was at stake. Not in a dramatic way, not in a fearful way, but in a foundational way. Foundations determine longevity, and your foundation needed reinforcement before expansion could safely arrive. The two individuals were not the true focus. They were the mirror revealing where your boundaries were thin. They exposed where generosity had become expectation. They highlighted where love had quietly turned into liability. And now, that cycle is broken. Look at what has shifted. You no longer respond automatically. You no longer feel guilty for pausing. You no longer feel responsible for solving every financial gap placed before you. That alone is victory. But there is more. The breakthrough that was hovering near you is no longer waiting. It is moving. Doors are aligning. Conversations are progressing. Resources are stabilizing. You are stepping into a season where your finances begin to reflect order instead of pressure. This is not luck. This is alignment. You were warned so you could prepare. You were shown the pattern so you could step out of it. You were alerted before it was too late. And because you listened, your future is intact. There may still be moments where the old dynamic attempts to resurface. Patterns sometimes knock one last time before disappearing fully. But now you recognize them immediately. And recognition removes their power. You have learned something invaluable. Access to you is not automatic. It is earned through respect, accountability, and balance. This lesson will protect you for decades. It will shape how you handle partnerships. It will influence how you manage contracts. It will guide how you structure shared responsibilities. You will never again enter agreements blindly. And here is the prophetic declaration over your life. What was once draining you will now strengthen you. What once pressured you will now propel you. What once took from you will now teach you. The financial peace entering your life is not temporary. It is the result of awakened stewardship. You are building with intention now. You are planning with clarity. You are moving with quiet confidence. The two people who once had silent access to everything will adjust. Some relationships will become healthier. Some distances will remain necessary. But you will not carry resentment. You will carry wisdom. And wisdom is heavier than gold. This entire message was never meant to create fear. It was meant to create focus. Focus on your calling. Focus on your future. Focus on the structure required for sustained blessing. You were not meant to fund dysfunction. You were meant to finance destiny. Now stand firm in this new season. Continue guarding your privacy. Continue reviewing details. Continue pausing before committing. These practices are no longer reactions to a warning. They are your new standard. The cycle has ended. The authority has returned. The breakthrough is secured. If this message has confirmed what your spirit already sensed, declare it boldly. Type "I reclaim my authority" in the comments if this word has sealed your heart. Blessing code 1224 is now activated over your finances, your household, and your future generations. And as this revelation closes, hear this clearly. When you choose to fuel messages like this, you are not supporting a channel. You are advancing a calling. The Lord declares, the seed you release becomes a harvest you cannot contain. This is not distant scripture. It is a living promise spoken over you now. I will stand with this mission and help this light reach homes that are one decision away from freedom. When you send a super thanks, join as a member, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are sowing into fertile ground that breaks financial chains in families worldwide. You are pouring oil into a lamp that refuses to go out. Do not delay when conviction rises in your spirit. Obedience in this moment unlocks multiplied return. As you give, may your own storehouses overflow and may protection rest over everything connected to you. Step forward now and seal this word with action.